Daddy, it's too big, and it's hurting me. I can't take it anymore, Amina screamed in pain, as her stepfather forced himself inside her. Get ready for an exciting journey filled with engaging stories, fun adventures, and moments that will inspire and entertain you. Your support means the world to us, so don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to Chronicles of Ode, and share with your friends and loved ones as we embark on this amazing journey together. The town of Garin-kowa was alive, its streets buzzing with the laughter of children and the clamor of traders calling out their wares. Amina loved the rhythm of her small world, the clanging bells from the mosque at dawn, the aroma of roasted corn wafting through the air, and the warmth of her mother's embrace every evening. Her mother, Alhaja Rahmat, was the pillar of their home, known across the market square for her sweet akara that drew people from far and wide. A widow by fate, Rahmat had remarried Malam Yakubu, a man with a sharp tongue and an air of self-importance. He promised to love Rahmat and care for Amina as if she were his own. And for a while, it seemed that promise might hold. In the beginning, their home was warm and filled with laughter. Malam Yakubu often joked with Amina, helping her with her school assignments and telling tales of his younger days. He even bought her a pair of new sandals when her old ones were out. "You're my little princess now," he would say with a wink, and Amina believed him, but beneath the charm, cracks in Malam Yakubu's character began to show. When the factory where he worked shut down, his cheerful demeanor turned sour. Days became heavy with silence, and nights echoed with Rahmat's worried voice pleading with him to find work. "Do you think it's that easy?" He snapped one evening, slamming his fist on the table. "Don't question me, woman." Amina froze in her corner, clutching her schoolbook. It was the first time she'd seen her stepfather raise his voice. As weeks turned into months, Malam Yakubu's bitterness festered. He spent his days lounging in the house while Rahmat worked longer hours, determined to make ends meet. "Amina, stay with your papa while I'm gone," Rahmat would say each morning, pressing a quick kiss to her daughter's forehead. Amina nodded, though a strange unease began to build inside her. At first, it was nothing more than an unfamiliar glance. Malam Yakubu's gaze lingered too long, his compliments too frequent. "You're growing into a fine woman," he remarked one day, his tone making her shift uncomfortably. Then came the touches, a hand brushing her arm, a pat on her back that lasted a second too long. Amina didn't know what to make of it, but she felt a knot tightening in her stomach each time she was alone with him. One day Rahmat had called saying she would be late returning from the market. Amina had just finished washing the dishes when Malam Yakubu called her into the living room. "Come here," he said, his voice calm but commanding. She hesitated. "Yes, Papa." "Don't be shy, Amina," he said, sitting in the dimly lit living room. "I need your help with something." Amina hesitated but followed him. "Yes, Baba," she asked softly, trying to keep her distance. He gestured toward his room. "Come inside. I want to teach you something important. It's time you learn how to become a real woman." Fear washed over Amina. She tried to back away, but Malam Yakubu's tone hardened. "Do not disobey me," he warned. "You know what I'm capable of." Terrified and unsure of how to escape, Amina entered the room. Malam Yakubu locked the door behind her, his voice low and commanding. He ordered her to undress and lie on the bed. When she refused, he raised his hand, his eyes cold with menace. "Do you want to feel my wrath?" he growled. Amina, trembling with fear, reluctantly complied, her mind racing for a way out. As he moved closer, she begged him to stop, tears streaming down her face. "Please, Baba, this isn't right," she cried, her voice breaking, but Malam Yakubu's pride and twisted sense of control blinded him to her pleas. He tried to force his way, every instinct in Amina told her to run, but fear kept her feet planted. As she lay, his hand landed on her shoulder, firm and heavy. "You know you're special to me, don't you?" Her voice trembled. "Yes, sir." What followed was a nightmare that shattered her world. The next morning, Rahmat returned with fresh bread and yam, greeting her family with a tired smile. Amina couldn't meet her eyes. She wanted to tell her mother, to scream the truth, but Malam Yakubu's threat rang in her ears. "If you say a word, your mother will suffer. Do you want her to die from heartbreak?" So Amina buried her pain, her once bright spirit now dulled by fear and shame. She avoided Malam Yakubu as much as possible, retreating to her room and pretending to study whenever he was near, but the darkness in their home grew, feeding off her silence. Rahmat wasn't blind to the changes in her daughter. Amina, once lively and full of questions, had become withdrawn and quiet. She no longer sang while helping with chores, and she flinched at the sound of Malam Yakubu's voice. One evening, Rahmat found Amina staring blankly at her schoolbook, her eyes red and swollen. "Amina, what's wrong? You can talk to me." "I'm fine, Mama," Amina whispered, forcing a smile. But Rahmat knew better. Her suspicion grew when she noticed the way Malam Yakubu hovered around Amina, his presence looming in ways that didn't sit right. One evening, Rahmat returned home earlier than expected. As she approached the house, she heard voices, Malam Yakubu's low and insistent, and Amina's trembling and fearful. She stopped outside the door, her hand frozen on the handle. "I told you, don't fight me," Malam Yakubu's voice growled. Rahmat's heart raced. She pushed the door open slightly, peeking inside. What she saw made her blood run cold. She saw Malam Yakubu, on top of Amina, doing the unthinkable. Rahmat stood frozen at the door, her heartbeat thundering in her ears. She had always suspected that something was amiss, but the scene before her confirmed her worst fears. Malam Yakubu loomed over Amina, his voice menacing and his hand gripping her wrist tightly. Amina's eyes were wide with fear, her body trembling as she tried to pull away. Rahmat's blood boiled. Without a second thought, she flung the door open, her voice trembling with rage. "Malam Yakubu, what do you think you're doing?" The sudden interruption startled both of them. Malam Yakubu quickly released Amina, his face twisting into a mask of feigned innocence. "Rahmat, you're back early," he said, forcing a laugh. "We were just having a talk. Isn't that right, Amina?" But Amina couldn't speak. Tears streamed down her face as she darted behind her mother, seeking the protection she had been too scared to ask for. Rahmat turned to her daughter, her voice soft but firm. "Amina, What's been happening? Tell me the truth. Amina hesitated, glancing at Malam Yakubu, whose eyes bore into her like a warning. But Rahmat gently held her shoulders, her own eyes filled with pain and determination. Don't be afraid. Mama is here now. The dam broke. Amina sobbed as she told her mother everything, how Malam Yakubu's behavior had changed, how he had stolen her innocence, and how he had threatened her into silence. Rahmat's world shattered with each word. Her knees buckled, and she fell to the floor, clutching Amina tightly. I'm so sorry, my child. I should have seen this. I should have protected you. Her sorrow quickly turned to fury. She rose, her face set with a resolve that Malam Yakubu had never seen before. You're a monster, she spat at him. How dare you? You betrayed my trust, my family, and my daughter. Malam Yakubu tried to talk his way out of it. Rahmat, you're overreacting. Give me a chance, enough. Rahmat cut him off, her voice like thunder. Get out of my house. Out. When he didn't move, she grabbed the broomstick by the door and swung it at him with all her strength. You think I won't fight you? Get out before I call the whole town to deal with you. Realizing that Rahmat was not bluffing, Malam Yakubu stumbled toward the door. You'll regret this, he sneered, but Rahmat slammed the door behind him with such force that the walls shook. The next day, Rahmat marched to the police station with Amina by her side. She told the officers everything, her voice steady despite the pain in her heart. The authorities promised to investigate and bring Malam Yakubu to justice. Word spread quickly through the town, and the community rallied around Rahmat and Amina. Women from the market brought food and words of encouragement, while Amina's school teachers offered counseling and support. Though Malam Yakubu was arrested a few days later, the scars he left on Amina didn't fade easily. She struggled with nightmares and found it hard to trust anyone, even her friends. Rahmat devoted herself entirely to her daughter's healing, enrolling her in therapy and spending every free moment reassuring her. Amina, you are strong, she would say, holding her close. This pain will not define you. We will rise above it together. Slowly but surely, Amina began to find her voice again. Months later, Amina stood before her school during a special assembly. She had written a poem about resilience and hope, inspired by her own journey. As she read aloud, her voice trembled at first but grew stronger with each line. I am more than the darkness I endured, a light burning bright, unshaken, assured, no shadow can dim the strength inside, for I am a phoenix, with wings spread wide. The crowd erupted in applause, many moved to tears. Rahmat watched with pride, knowing that her daughter was finding her way back to herself.